We've finally reached the end of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, which is the super creative title given to the end of this series about Jeffree Star by Shane Dawson. But try not to get too excited, because even though this video's thumbnail shows one of the two canceled YouTubers wearing the space helmet from an off-planet prison colony, I can assure you that both Jeffree and Shane do finish out this series still walking freely across the face of the earth. Well, at least as free as somebody can be while trapped inside the mind of an egomaniac without the talent to back it up. In this rage-inducing finale, Jeffree continues to effortlessly rewrite history to make himself look as innocent and sympathetic as possible. Meanwhile, Shane Dawson visibly struggles to make the events of this series more about him. His camera operator Chris visibly struggles to capture just one stable image with decent sounding audio, and his fiance Ryland visibly struggles to share a one-bedroom hotel room with the person who almost brags about having the personal care habits of a wild bear. A lot of hot fish breath and body hair caked with feces. So go ahead and grab your gas mask for this Shane Dawson Doomsday flavored installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break it down into clips, like Shane Dawson breaks down everything into a 3-part series that seriously could have been an email. That way we can look at each individual clip and say, this was funny but sad at the same time, and this was sad and sad at the same time. I found myself being sad most of the time while covering this series, but nothing is as sad to me as an unsatisfying ending, and that's where we're gonna end up. But don't worry, because I'll make it satisfying by viscerally tearing these two individuals apart as though they're not also human beings. I'm just kidding, but most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you're also from Planet Sad after watching all 3 of these movies. Also, I've got merch and a Patreon that you can check out for extra bonus content and virtual watch parties. But let's just get into the Shane Dawson of it all, because mama, we're in the home stretch. I'm gonna be taking probiotics for the next 8 years of my life just to get my health back in shape after sitting through this boring mess. Let's watch the first clip.
This in what, 2 years now? It's weird. This is like the reveal. I've been waiting 2 years for this.
Mama, I've been waiting 2 years for this as well. At least that's what it feels like with all of your bunk editing from outer space, which somehow managed to stretch roughly 40 minutes of slightly interesting content into the 3-hour series that sits before us. Watching Shane Dawson videos is like being served oatmeal and you have to eat it, even though you know they're in that kitchen mixing it with sawdust to add volume. Like, okay, I guess I won't be dying of starvation, but now I gotta worry about the fibrous intestinal blockages that could be pressed into slabs of particle board large enough to build an IKEA coffee table. If the footage that Shane Dawson shot in Wyoming really constituted 180 minutes of final edited runtime, then we shouldn't be seeing the same clip of him teasing us with the opening of this pleather makeup palette for the 6th time at the top of the 3rd hour. Like, imagine if he had just saved that footage for this point, the final episode. Wouldn't that make this first scene feel so much more engaging? Instead, we're just left feeling bored and desperate for some sort of closure or narrative relief. Like, I would be relieved just to not have to see any more close-ups of Shane Dawson's thighs. We get it, Shane. You found the perfect pair of black pants to work a closing shift at Sephora or Foot Locker. Every time we see Shane's lap on the screen, I think someone used my computer to Google recipes for blood sausage. Anyway, a quick catch up for those who haven't seen the last video in my series. Go watch it. Jeffree just broke the news that he will be quitting YouTube, which to me is not a big deal because he has already quit YouTube like 2 years ago now. He only puts out basically reveal videos for new makeup collections and hasn't been doing any of the YouTubery content-y stuff that he became well known for over the later part of the 2010s. And now the series has become about that. Shane Dawson grappling with this news that he's had since before he got on the plane, that Jeffree is gonna stop doing this thing that he's already stopped doing. I feel like you've got lots of good stuff. I don't know what's like dark about this.
I just feel sad.
Personally, or for Jeffree, or what?
I mean, I'm happy.
Okay, well maybe you should get your story straight before you start recording, because you already know how difficult it is for Chris to lower the volume of his mouth breathing when the cameras are rolling. Which, I mean, I get it, since he also has to focus on zooming in and out wildly, and also manually changing exposure settings in the middle of important sentences. This is my impression of Chris's camera work throughout the series. Hey everybody, so it's day 6 here at the Yak Ranch, and Jeffree just told us that his grandmother, she's a 105-year-old Komodo dragon with alopecia. Hold on, good. You can see the rest of that scene in my upcoming reboot of the Blair Witch Project called The Queer Project. I used to think that Shane wasn't getting any honest feedback on these videos from the people in his life, but now that he's engaged to Ryland, I can see that he's just not getting honest feedback from any of the people in his life that he respects. Ryland is sitting right there saying that he's confused about Shane's reaction to the news that Jeffree Star is quitting YouTube, which should be a pretty strong indicator that the audience will also be confused, since Ryland should understand Shane better than any of us. He knows Shane inside and out. I'm referring to his skin folds that he has to wipe down with Clorox disinfectant. Shane is like, it makes me sad. And Ryland is like, okay, but why? And Shane is like, actually, it makes me happy. And Ryland is like, okay, why? All right, whatever. Shane doesn't know how he's feeling, but he does know that it's profound, life-changing, and not at all anticlimactic. It's uncomfortable as a viewer to watch a documentary by someone who we can literally see not knowing how to feel about any event without first trying to filter it through the lens of how his audience might interpret him. That's why instead of committing to an actual opinion, Shane would rather just go misty-eyed and look pensively into the distance, because that can easily be edited together with other Jeffree Star videos he rips off YouTube and affordably licensed stock music that has the right acoustic guitar sound to sway our emotions in whichever way Shane decides to feel in the editing room. Know what would actually be cool to watch as a viewer is if he was just honest with us about what's going on. Like, why couldn't Shane just let us in on his storytelling process and be like, I'm so frazzled right now because we flew all the way out here. I thought we would be like revealing the concept for the Doomsday palette and then maybe releasing a limited edition of it in my merch store, but now it's just Jeffree telling me he's quitting YouTube and I don't know how to feel about it, but I also don't know if all of this is for nothing. Is that even gonna make an interesting story? How do we give this news a satisfying ending for the documentary that I'm making right now? Like, all of these things that Shane is probably secretly trying to mastermind, he can just let us in on that and use it as a springboard for whatever happens next, you know? So he's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. If Jeffree's going out on YouTube, we're gonna make it the biggest last video ever. We're gonna throw a doomsday party with the 4 of us on the ranch, or we're gonna do one final photo shoot. His glam team is here, his social media person is here. We'll do a YouTube short to kind of get people over to his TikTok. Like, produce an event that makes a satisfying ending. Even just proposing those ideas to Jeffree would be a more interesting scene than him like sitting in the room with Ryland being like, why are you feeling sad when nothing sad happened? And it would certainly be more satisfying than watching the same clip of Jeffree Jeffree and Shane sitting on a boulder again and again. Idiot! You idiot of editing! Okay, also annoying is that none of this series has a logical flow. Like, we've been in the kitchen 6 other times, and now we're in the kitchen meeting Jacqueline, who is Jeffree's like social media manager who helps him with TikTok. This was interesting. It's like her first time meeting Jeffree in person after only having Zoom calls, and it's like this would have been cool to see in episode 1, and also would have been logical if it just followed the chronology of the events rather than like him mixing up all this footage so that nothing feels fresh and new by the end of it, and all of it just feels like a little muddy and confusing.
Conspiracy collection, it was magical.
Absolutely. I was working at Morphe during that.
Really?
Yes. So,
Were you working there when they started throwing it out?
Yeah. I was so sad about it too.
Then how come you did nothing to stop it, Jacqueline? How could you just stand idly by while those less popular retail items were taken down from shelves and packed into crates marked return to vendor? You should have stepped up and been the Moses of Jeffree's makeup products. Also, the sexism and misogyny that Shane doesn't even know he has. By giving this talented young woman the title New Social Media Girl. Are you from the Mad Men era of advertising? Like, come on, Shane, she's also an adult, not some much younger teenage fan of yours from 2011 who you would kiss on the mouth at meet and greets. By the way, there are so many photos online of Shane Dawson kissing people who, for one reason or another, seem inappropriate to be kissing. He always looks like he's using an air sickness bag. That alone is too much. Shane and Jeffree are so excited when they find out Jacqueline worked at a Murphy store. Murphy Furniture, now selling Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Jeffree and Shane are so excited to find out Jacqueline worked at Morphe at the time of Jeffree being exited, or as we would say in the retail beauty biz, from the stores, meaning Morphe decided to end their partnership with Jeffree after many years, mainly due to a lot of Jeffree's racial scandals coming back up and resurfacing like a lot of problematic videos. They're like, oh, this is the tea.
Were they like, okay, so everybody, group meeting.
was there a moment of like, I wonder if all the stores being told like, hey, we're not gonna carry this anymore, we gotta take it away? Were you there for that?
I was in management at the time.
Girl.
They just said take him down. When I got into work, they're like, take him down, put it in the back.
Okay, but there must have been like a company-wide email that made personal and snarky comments about our cancellation, right? No? Well, surely there were crowds of angry people outside calling for us to be arrested, no? Okay, but obviously our biggest supporters were sitting on the sidewalk and lighting themselves on fire in protest, right? Oh, it was just another task you did at your retail job that happens every week? How strange. Well, in that case, Shane and Jeffree deserve to feel outraged over that. I am obsessed with Shane and Jeffree thinking that their product displays were the first ones Morphe ever disassembled from an end cap, even though that happens every 2 weeks in retail cosmetics, mama. Seasonality, it's all about the limited edition newness. Whether Shane and Jeffree were canceled or not, I feel like the conspiracy collection was on its way out anyway. And obviously, Morphe was a distributor of Jeffree Star Cosmetics, but he hasn't needed them to succeed. He uses TJ Maxx now. Also, the sensationalism of Jeffree Star is on full display here, since he was prepared to act aghast if Morphe made a big deal about severing ties with him, but then also he's ready to act aghast even if they just kind of casually got rid of his stuff like it wasn't a big deal. Either way, it's a disgusting and horrible move that happened to him as the victim of his own racism. They're like, wait, did people call me a fat pig and then throw all of my palettes into the Nile River? No, we just took them down. That was it. I hate the way Shane interacts with this social media manager the entire time. She's talking about all of her cool ideas for making Jeffree Star's quotes into TikTok sounds. Shane is basically like, okay, well, have fun with that. I respect the work you do. I respect the work you... Girl, her TikTok videos are more tightly edited and engaging to watch than even your best docuseries. I swear to God, it's less of a waste of time to watch Jacqueline on TikTok than it is to watch anything from Shane Dawson's farting out videos. What? Like, where is this high and mighty attitude? You think because you get After Effects involved, that makes you a filmmaker? Girl, not even close. Historically, one of my biggest criticisms of Shane Dawson has been his lack of restraint while editing and his terrible audio. And I think one of the best ways to learn self-discipline in this regard is to practice. And that means having access to the right tools, which is why I'm so proud that today's video is sponsored by Wondershare, specifically UniConverter, which is a program I've been using for as long as I've had this channel. And yes, you can even experiment with wild effects like
making your voice high-pitched,
or
sound like a child,
or sound like a robot, along with other really helpful audio tools like vocal remover and noise reducers. That's because Wondershare UniConverter is a complete video toolbox to help you edit, compress, and convert video files, and even burn DVDs, and a lot more. This program is super easy to use and will make any video and audio editing a breeze, while like other Wondershare products being much more affordable than alternatives like Adobe Media Encoder. If you've ever tried to open a video file and your computer doesn't support it, this is the tool that's going to help you be able to finally watch it. If you've ever tried to send a video file but it's too large, this is the program that's going to help you compress it into something that's easy to share with your friends. And if you've ever tried to play an external subtitle file while watching a movie you downloaded, UniConverter is the answer. I don't think I can properly describe to you how I've used Wondershare UniConverter for every single video. That's why I'm so excited to be able to share a link with you in the description so that you can get started with Wondershare UniConverter and totally streamline all of your video and audio editing needs. But anyway, we keep flashing back to Shane in the hotel so that he can say something about his sadness regarding Jeffree giving up on YouTube. And then he's like, maybe I should throw my hat in the ring too. Really spice up the drama.
I feel sad about it. He seems happy about it, but maybe I'm having a problem moving on. Maybe I should quit YouTube. Like, why am I sad about it and he's not?
First of all, yeah, you should definitely quit YouTube. We love that, but I think you feel obligated to feel sad about it because no matter what the purported subject of a Shane Dawson video is, the story is actually really just about Shane and his emotional journey reacting to that subject as though it's the source of stress and anxiety unlike any other human has ever felt. Everything on earth is not about you, Shane Dawson, and everything that happens is not happening to you. The victim narrative is so strong with these two. I feel like Shane wants us to think that he's Snuggles from the Downy commercials, but in reality, I don't believe he actually uses fabric softener, just tosses river stones into the dryer. He also doesn't need to iron because the temperature and humidity of his back sweat helps naturally steam the garment. Then Shane really spins off. He's like, I just don't believe that Jeffree really likes what he's doing. I mean, seeing him make those TikToks, he looks miserable. It's like, he looks exactly the same as he does making those miserable YouTube videos. I will tell you that much. Regardless, Jeffree has never been super invested in the video content he's making, as in he'll sit and record it, he'll have it professionally set up, but then somebody else edits it, and in this case, someone's clearly telling him what ideas and trends to do, but they go to some quick clip where Jeffree's like, see, this is what we do now. I'm doing a TikTok dance. And somehow all of this relates back to that unreleased Doomsday palette that Shane and Jeffree were nearly completing in 2020 before it all kind of got scrapped.
This is so much different now. Like, I'm really paranoid and I just really want to make sure each single shade is good.
At first I didn't realize he made that whole table black and white, so I was like, oh boy, the poor blood circulation in his extremities is not exactly a sign of good health. That gentleman looks like he's got 2 hands in the grave. The closest I feel Shane gets to kind of hitting a effective narrative thread is when he's like, I guess I'm just sad because it's like, this is it. It just ends with the fizzle. And that is, you know, a good place to start. If you're like, oh, so if that's how you feel, then what do you want to do in this stupid video series to make things exciting, to give Jeffree the great send-off he needs? Can you do one final Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson makeup tutorial on your channel? You know, give us some central event that will feel fun. I mean, if you give a about these people will feel fun to watch and then satisfying when it's over. But instead, he's just sort of like, okay, we'll see what Jeffree has planned for us next. And they go out to dinner at the restaurant in Wyoming that carries the star Yak Ranch Burger, aka a specialty burger made from only the animals ground up on Jeffree's meat farm. We also hear a little bit more from Maddie, who makes it clear that the timing of her departure from Jeffree Star Cosmetics as his assistant had nothing to do with his cancellation, although she was aware it looked that way. It was due to personal issues. And it's like, okay, lots of image repair here, isn't there? I don't know what these people are up to at the restaurant, but they're saying all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh, this bread, it's a little sexual. Looks like me and Ryan at the bottom.
Okay, unlike some of the other illogical R-rated improv that comes out of Jeffree's mouth, this at least kind of made sense. Like, I believe Jeffree when he says that during sex, he and Ryland have asses that look terribly greasy and covered in debris. There's an essence of truth to that joke. But I mean, maybe if they both just got spray tans. Because you know Jeffree is so blindingly pale that his butt can actually be used as emergency lighting during power outages. Not gonna lie though, that bread does look good.
Right out of the oven. Wow. It's like I'm eating.
You could tell me that that was somebody's senile grandparent at their birthday dinner and I would believe it. Like, I feel as though I should be apologizing on Jeffree's behalf to his visiting nurse who sometimes stays late to help out during meals. Also, new fear unlocked. Jeffree Star wants to eat my ass like free bread. Another sort of iron that Shane Dawson has in the fire to like give any of part of this episode emotional weight is like, oh my god, we met the yaks now. Now am I gonna be sad when I eat the yak burger? Oh, now I'm scared of eating the yak for the first time. I've never had yak. Girl, your logo is a pig and you still eat Baconators from Wendy's. I don't see what the difference is.
All right, well, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy yakking.
Cheers to the yak. Wow. First impressions, very good.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm not sure how much longer my heart could have endured the high-stakes suspense of watching two people sample a new type of cheeseburger. This whole day, Shane is like, I'm scared to try the yak burger. What if I don't like it? What's it gonna taste like? Even though everyone around him is like, well, have you had beef? Because it tastes like that. Also, it was a rhetorical question. They can probably tell that he's had beef just from the smell of his stress sweat. When I lived in New York, I was not living my healthiest life, and I was a sweaty individual, like more so than now. Just getting on or off the subway, going from the outside to the inside, my scalp and my face and my back would all be very sweaty. So I definitely feel for the plight. Turns out I was just poisoning my body and anxious about the way that I looked all the time. So once those issues fell away, bone dry mama, touch all this skin. Seems like Ryland might have had a few cocktails on Jeffree's dime at this dinner because he's getting in on the foul jokes as well. I will never forget this instance of both Jeffree and Ryland doing their impression of a heterosexual person.
This cup is a foot. You're out right here. Nice table. Yes.
I don't know what was more convincing, Jeffree talking about cracking open pussy like it's a can of beer, or Ryland who instantly got excited about finding the perfect little table for eating it off of. Like, that's not how any of this works, gentlemen. Settle yourselves. Settle yourselves. Get out of that truck. I'm someone who always thinks like, oh, you're as young as you feel. People can do anything at any age. But when I see Jeffree Star standing up in the back of his truck screaming like a 10th grader, I think, no, we're too old for that. There is a limit. There is a difference between feeling free at any age and not acting immature in public. So maybe strike a little bit more of that balance. J-Star. So anyway, they tried the burger. They're eating pussy. They talk way too much for no reason about the Come On In, which is the name of the hotel that Ryland, Shane, and Chris are staying in. I'm like, why do they have a hot tub in the lobby? This place is garbage. But sure, whatever. Also, at one point yesterday, Jeffree was like, oh, we're gonna go to the cowboy store and get you guys all styled and outfitted like Wyoming ranch hands, and it's gonna be so much fun. That never happened. That never materialized. Again, at least a fun activity that's more than just B-roll and bullshit. B-roll and bullshit. should be the title of Shane Dawson's memoir. But I'm not sure he knows how to write. He had that book of essays called I Hate My Selfie, but I'm pretty sure he dictated that to an assistant who then went mad and had to be institutionalized. So now it's the next morning and the final day that the group is spending at Jeffree's Wyoming town. And although we didn't get a scene of them buying these clothes, we know that Shane packed a particular outfit for this last day. Because another classic thing that Shane seems to think adds interest to his videos is putting on some sort of tacky costume.
Oh my god.
Not the grander hookup you were expecting, was it, boy? Come on in. So I can come on in.
POV, you just got catfished by a Republican senator. If this were me, fight or flight would take over, and I would simply dive through that window and hope for a fire escape. I guess I'm just a little confused. If he was trying to dress like a cattle rancher, then why does he look like a tour guide at Jurassic Park? I will once again be discussing the terrible audio editing of this series.
It's hard to wrap your head around because
like, why did Shane cut out Ryland's audio after the word because? That's such a frustrating place to shorten someone's sentence because I don't recall. That's what that was. It's like this kind of basic thing that you don't have to go to film school to learn, but you do need to like read some books about editing or watch some tutorials or like just use your brain to actively think about. And I don't believe Shane is teachable enough to ever get those pieces of advice, and no one in his circle is gonna be like, what? Don't cut out the word at because. Maybe Shane just heard more than 5 syllables come out of Ryland's mouth and he's like, we gotta break up that noise, ugh. Speaking of musical montages, we get a full minute long one, which is just video yearbook footage of Shane and Jeffree in all of their past collaborations with this song. Maybe this time I won't stay around. Just like the summer. So yeah, just imagine 60 seconds of that. But allow me to follow it up with something interesting. When I made this whole musical montage 6 times faster, it kind of sounds like fun video game music. You made it to the final level, which means your last challenge is to slaughter a yak using your bare hands, while also wear testing Jeffree Star Cosmetics' new Yak Attack Under Eye Concealer. It's luminous and crease-proof, thanks to the mucus that we rinse out of the yak placentas.
Come on, man! She's very real.
That's me defending my home against a demon nun after binge watching the Conjuring universe by myself. Not a single word about gun safety or a lower third title explaining that this was a staged and carefully planned skit. Like, otherwise it looks like Jeffree had made no effort to ensure that there was a clear line of fire. Okay, stupid guns. Anyway, Jeffree loves to give us little biological facts about yaks. Facts about yaks every couple minutes. He says that because they don't have sweat glands, their manure doesn't stink. And Shane decides to test this in the most disgusting way I can possibly think of.
Pick it up. It's
only no, Shane.
It's only grass.
Just get down there and
it's
smell
only
it.
grass.
Why do you have to touch it? Sick.
I'm not sure how much revenue Shane made off of this video, but I promise you it would not be enough money to have me ever pick up animal feces with my bare hands and hold it close to my face, let alone on camera for millions of people to see. The dignity, I cannot find it home on the range. It's troubling behavior. Like, even if one of the yaks were getting that close to their own they would have to be seen by the large animal vet. And no, I'm not suggesting that Shane is a large animal who should be seen by a vet. I'm sure there's also a case to be made for euthanasia. So anyway, we see Shane and Jeffree waddle out into the field for the 5th time. Again, if he just had the, like, self-control to save the footage of the last episode until the last episode and not use every little thing as a quick little preview teaser in the episode before. Or again, he could have another step forward and just make the content not 3 hours long. It also seems like Shane himself is out of touch with where YouTube is at algorithmically. Like, yes, there was a period, especially in 2017, where it really behooved creators to make videos into 2 parts because it's what YouTube calls programming the viewer's behavior, where it's like, oh, you just finished this video and now you can go watch part 2 by clicking right here, and it keeps people watching more content. That's not really how they promote videos anymore. Like, you can watch this video of mine and it'll just figure out what the best video to recommend to you next from me is. That sentence was all but you know what I'm saying. Shane still is splitting everything into 3 parts as though A, people want to see 3 parts of anything he did, and B, as though that's somehow like the YouTube game, when he's kind of the only person doing it and it's not like it's to any great success. Anyway, Shane and Jeffree talk about how they have so much love for each other. I'm like, you're way more affectionate for Jeffree, this guy who you made some makeup with, as opposed to Ryland, this guy who you, I suppose, put your inside of. Oh, why did I say it? Why did I have to say it? That makes it real, like the Babadook.
Because like YouTube has kind of always been my thing, but YouTube, it was like a 4-year thing for you, right?
Maybe more like 7, 8. But I entered a community and I made it better, and the couple that sets together stays together.
Again, why cut off Jeffree's sentence after the words "and I"? And you what? Have loved posting videos online ever since that first one where you were screaming racial slurs at people? I love how Shane is trying to make it seem like he was born inside of a YouTube playlist while Jeffree Star is just dabbling in it. No, sweetie, you've both been bad for similar lengths of time. Have no fear. Your career is at just as much of a risk. Like, you should both quit. No one cares. Shane goes a little bit into the branding that they had planned for the Doomsday palette, and again, like, it's just like, we were so excited to launch this, but then we didn't. Yeah, because no one wanted it. So what are we talking about?
I haven't seen this in a few years now.
Yeah, 2020.
God, are they all shattered?
Oh, our lives or the palette? No, our lives are great.
Don't tell me your lives are great while you're sitting on a rock in a dirt field, sweating through your suit vest in the high noon sun. It's not great life type of stuff, if you ask me. I mean, yeah, you have a mansion, but you seem deeply unhappy. Also, oh my god, so funny, Shane. Almost as good as when I already saw this same footage 55 minutes ago. Shane is that person who repeats the joke when he thinks nobody heard, and it's like, we heard, just not funny. Stop stalling, because it's time for you to accept the fact that this entire series has been building up to you flipping open the lid on a metallic eyeshadow palette for colors you never released and never will. No, it's not a good ending, but I mean, it also wasn't a good beginning or middle, so I guess I can appreciate the cohesion. Open the f***ing thing. Open the f***ing thing. It's taken you 3 of my days of my life.
The Doomsday palette.
Okay, let's see it.
Whoa.
I agree. The color story of this palette is simply impossible to describe, mainly because it's so forgettable that my brain doesn't even bother to process the image in real time. I'm forgetting about it as soon as I look at it. Huh? Could buy it at Claire's? Huh? I don't know what to tell you. I like how you were creative enough to find 8 shades of brown and all of them are ugly. Kill the yaks over that. There are some shades that they're like super proud of, and they also do a montage showing a lot of these shades as they were recycled into other Jeffree Star releases since 2020. So like, we're not seeing any new colors like that we've never seen before in life.
It looks so pretty in this lighting. This one. This was the one that we made in the lab together.
Oh yeah, and it's also the one that you just contaminated with particles of yak feces. Because remember when you picked that up with your hands a few minutes ago? Why are you dressed like Woody from Toy Story if he had to attend his brother's wedding? So there you have it, the Doomsday palette, finally revealed. It really just feels like Shane being nostalgic for 2017 when people actually cared about what he was doing at a scale that could motivate the product launch. The fact of the matter is, even if he and Shane launched this palette now, it would not sell well because Shane is a non-starter for most people. So this is all just like him reliving that old series and I guess hoping that this can reach similar heights.
We already know it would have been such a huge seller. The whole theme, everything was just so different. It was so like It was like almost like anti-beauty in such a cool way.
I definitely agree with the part about it being anti-beauty, but I'm failing to see how it's in a cool way. This promo photo is weird. Why is Shane dressed like the child detection agency in Monsters, Inc? And why is he looting that scorched mannequin from the mall basement? He's like, I'm gonna take this home and f it. Don't do it, don't do it, that's stealing. Also, they do note the, I guess, irony of them wanting to release the Doomsday palette, which partially got canceled because of an apocalyptic pandemic. So they're like, what would we call it now instead?
We can always rename it Annihilation.
No, something happy.
How about Petri dish, since this color palette is sort of looking like the culture of healthy bacteria found inside the human gut? And the title also has a double meaning. Remember, because of how Shane smeared the residue of yak poop into that highlight shade? Added value. Yeah, maybe spray this down with some alcohol before putting it into the Jeffree Star vault. Otherwise, you might actually start incubating a new super strain of yak virus, which frankly, my immune system will not have the strength to fight off after watching 3 hours of Shane Dawson content, which health experts believe is equivalent to rolling around in roughly 3 barnyards full of shit. I literally sit before you stuffed to the gills with deadly pathogens and disgusting parasites. But maybe it was all worth it, since at least now one of those disgusting parasites is no longer going to post YouTube videos. And that's all we wrote. That's all they edited into a big string of garbage for this Jeffree Star series. What do you think Shane Dawson is gonna do for his next move? I mean, yes, he'll keep editing terrible vlogs for Ryland's channel, and apparently they still got a baby rolling down the surrogacy pipe. The surrogacy pipe is what I call the birth canal of your surrogate mother. Let me know your thoughts. Do you feel angry that this series was such a waste of time? Talk about a nothing burger, a Yak Star Ranch nothing burger with Gruyere cheese. Also, let me know if Shane Dawson has done any other content from the past or the present or the future that you feel like it deserves a look. I will take a look as well, since, you know, my health is already compromised, might as well keep going. But most importantly, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It lets me know and also helps support the channel. But most importantly, if you're new here, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications. That way you'll always be the first to know when I'm picking up manure with my bare hands and holding it out into your face like a thoughtful gift. Also, I've got merch available and a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus content and monthly virtual watch parties that are truly some of the most fun I have doing anything with you. Not that you're not fun always, but anyway, thank you all so much for watching and stepping into some yak with me once again. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time.